Did you see the kickoff style?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree.
It's like it's new, but I think it'd be cool. Like
Yeah, no,
I
I think
think
I think that we only got like 4 games to see it, but I think that like as the season goes on, if we see like a lot of like, cool like returns or like, a lot of touchdowns, more like action off those type of plays, then
yeah,
especially if there's, like less injuries pound for pound too, especially concussions. I think that that could be something that gets adapted. And while we're on that like topic of like possible like things like the referees being able to talk like on the microphone like in real
yeah,
time while the shit's going on like with Blandino in the booth, like that needs to be adapted immediately. Because like, transparency, like you
yeah.
be pissed off at a call and the main thing that you're pissed off of is just like what the fuck are they thinking, like how they not see that. If you like hear their logic, at least you could be like that guy's just an idiot instead of just being like what the fuck. And I think that would possibly eliminate some of like the script rumors and shit like that. Um,
Well, what if
yeah,
the script? What if the script is real?
yeah. I mean, who knows? Is
Because
the
there's honestly at this point, there's no excuse for that not to be happening.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that if the NFL never adapts that rule and there's really no like reasoning to why after it's been successful in the XFL, like in a hypothetical world, if that happens, I think that people are definitely going to be like, why the fuck aren't you doing it? Like there has to be a reason. Like it clearly works and everybody likes it. So
Well, people are already saying it, and not to like dwell on the past or anything, but it's like every other league, kind of like
yeah,
NHL, NL, MLB, besides maybe NBA. But when there's a call or a penalty or something, it's ref, any ref, hand up, or umpire, you're out, whatever. And if they go up there and say, hey, number 22, cross checking, they don't have a huge little conference over there of who they're going to screw over and who they need to help before they go up and make the call. So it's just like something to think about.
I also think if
Definitely.
they do that, my bad. I think if they do that too, like, a lot of times in the NFL, you'll see like makeup calls, like you'll get like a horrible roughing the passer call, and then a couple plays later, you get like a horrible like holding call to get them back for it. And if you have like guys talking in real time, like on live television, then you can't just be like, all right, yeah, makeup call, you got to get them back for that one. Like that happens like a lot. So like that would eliminate that, I think, too. So I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be adapted, but the NFL obviously likes to, stay in their ways. So we'll see. But hello and welcome to the Boys Upstairs Show. It's the week 2 XFL show.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right, so XFL season started a week ago. We were watching the games and pondering the possibility of doing an XFL show, possibly weekly. This is the first one. It's a little test run. We'll see how it goes. There's not a lot of XFL content out there, so if we can provide that to the people, then we would like to do that. Provide our insight that we have as much as possible through 1 week of play. But Hines Ward led San Antonio Brahmas. I think that's how you pronounce it. They're -3.5 at the Orlando Guardians, which a lot of teams are, probably looking a lot better than the Orlando Guardians right now. They have a lot of holes. Their coach isn't really, as experienced as some of the other coaches. The total's 38.5. We'll go to Cobe here, who is going to be our resident Orlando Guardian fan and reporter coming into us from Orlando. So go ahead, Cobe.
I'm gonna have to be the Guardians fan, Cobe, even though it doesn't sound as good as Sam's does. But unfortunately, yeah, they got absolutely ran through last week. They couldn't move the ball. They punted 6 times, had turnover on downs twice, missed a field goal. They let up I think 33 points. They couldn't stop anything. Their defense was absolutely horrific. Matt Elam did get a pick though, so they have something going for them. They do have DeAndre Francois. I don't know how to say it. He was a Florida State quarterback.
Francois.
Francois. He was a Florida State quarterback, and he wasn't that bad in college. They also have Cody Latimer and Eli Rogers, who were NFL wide receivers. I am gonna have to take the Brahmas. They have a good team. They have Jack Cohn, former Notre Dame quarterback. He was pretty good. They have Kalen Ballage, former Dolphins running back. they have a pretty balanced offense. They run it and they can throw it. They have a good defense. If you're gonna make mistakes, the Guardians is the team that makes mistakes against. So I'm gonna take the Brahmas, whatever their spread is, and I'm gonna take the over as well. I think the Guardians, even though they played an awful week 1, I think that was just a really bad week 1. We've seen it from a lot of NFL teams that end up being good. Like, for instance, the Cincinnati Bengals had the awful week 1 and ended up being a pretty good team. So I think the over is going to hit, and I think the Brahmas are going to take this. So even though I'm Guardians fan, they just looked very unpleasant in their first game.
Really quick, I just want to throw this in there. I just Googled it. A Brahma is a type of cow. So for what that's worth.
We're in week 2 of the XFL season. And this is the second XFL season, in the last 3-4 years.
Yep.
And there is already a quarterback crisis going on in Orlando. Paxton Lynch, I think everyone knows by now, he has set the record. He has been benched in every single football league possible. Literally every single league. Like, you could not go and play in a football league that Paxton Lynch has not been benched in. So there's that. Terrell Buckley's their head coach. He's an NFL champ, college position coach, nothing special, pretty much what everyone else is. Besides Wade Phillips on the Roughnecks, which we'll get to later. But I'm going to take the Brahmas here. Neither of these teams really have that much of a resume. I mean, there's some notable names on the Guardians. But as you could tell, if anybody watched week 1, they are looking quickly to be the 2022 Denver Broncos of the XFL, which is not good. So, yeah, I'm going to go the Brahmas here. And I'm also going to go under 38.5.
There's another Steelers pick. Hines Ward's the head coach. Brahmas are coming off a tough loss, giving up, I think it was 12 points in the last 90 seconds of their game on Sunday. So the team's going to be pretty pissed off. They're going to be looking to come back. I like a minus 3.5. I'm also going to take the under again in this game. Like I said, I just don't see offenses clicking right away until maybe about week 4. So, yeah.
Piggyback off that, like we say, they have a running back named Kalen Ballage, which was a former Steeler last year, played pretty good in preseason, packs a punch, had a pretty good game last week. Yeah, I like him and the Cows, so let's go Brahmas.
I'm taking the Brahmas minus 3.5 just because I think the Orlando Guardians are, without a quarterback right now. I think that Paxton Lynch is not going to play and that they're going to start Quentin Dormady. So, shout out him from Central Michigan. He didn't play very well either. Had 2 picks in that game as well last week. But I think Orlando's bad enough where it'll make sense, and 3.5 is still a good number. I don't want to touch the total again just because, Orlando's defense might just get blown out and they might get the total themselves. San Antonio, and San Antonio's coming off as devastating of a loss as you could come off. So I like them in this spot either way. But yeah, give me the Brahmas. We have a surprise guest joining us here as well.
It's not George on sports.
Not George.
What up?
Payton Sukhu is joining us, XFL expert. Payton, we are just talking about San Antonio Brahmas minus 3.5 at the Orlando Guardians. Totals 38.5. Your thoughts?
I'm not even 100% familiar with the teams necessarily, but I did throw some bets down on it last weekend. They were very small parlays. I didn't win any of them.
Arlington Renegades at Houston Roughnecks, Battle of Texas. 2 literally I don't know if Bob Stoops in the Hall of Fame, but Hall of Fame level head coaches, legendary head coaches. Roughnecks are minus 4.5. Totals 39.5. We will go to Sean.
So I watched a lot of footage on the Roughnecks last week, studied countless hours, and they just stood out to me. But I also believe in the Renegades, so I think it's going to be a shootout type game, and I'm just going to take the over.
I'll just go opposite of Sean. I'm going to take the under.
Sean was kind of alluding to it there. The Roughnecks really did stand out as if you're going to say who's number 1 in the power rankings right now, it'd probably be them. Maybe we'll do a weekly rankings too for the XFL. But Roughnecks obviously played the Guardians week 1, and that's an easy opponent, you could say. But this will be a real test. Arlington's a good team. This game is in Houston, so if home field advantage exists in the XFL, they will have it. But in this game, I like Houston. 4.5 is the biggest spread on the board this week, but I'll lay the points. Give me the over as well. I like Sean's reasoning. These are 2 good teams. And I don't think every game is just going to go under because like the defenses are still trying to get their shit together too. So, but yeah, Houston and the over.
So yeah, the Roughnecks, they absolutely destroyed the Guardians. What's crazy to me is they don't really have like super notable NFL players. They have Sean Davis, who's a former defensive back for the Steelers. But when I was looking at their roster, they don't really have tons of ex-NFL talent. They're really just well coached. I mean, Wade Phillips is a great coach. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, he was kind of like the Brady stopper. He was the defensive coordinator, the coach of the Giants when they beat the Patriots twice. So he's a mastermind. I love the Roughnecks offense. They air it out. They like to launch that bitch. They were the quarterback was 26 for 42. His name is Brandon Silvers. Shout out to him. He was really airing that bitch out. They had a crazy offense, explosive, over 350 yards total of offense. Their defense was crazy. They had 7 sacks and 3 picks and 8 tackles for loss. That's a really good defense. And I mean, I'm sure it's all because of Wade Phillips. So I'm going to take them here. I mean, the Renegades aren't bad. They have Will Hill, who was a safety on the 49ers, not the 49ers, the Ravens. And they have Marquette King, who's like one of my all-time favorite punters. But their offense, they only scored on field goals offensively. They had a pick 6 or maybe 2 pick 6, the Renegades in their first game, but offensively, they only scored field goals. I don't know how that's going to go against the Roughnecks, who had a great defensive game and have a defensive-minded head coach. So I'm going to take the Roughnecks. I'm going to take the under. I know people are saying the over in this game, but Wade Phillips is a defensive mastermind. The Renegades offense was awful in the first game. So I think most of the scoring is going to get done by the Roughnecks. So I'm going to take the under, and I'm going to take the Roughnecks, their spread, because I think that there's no way they lose this game. They have an explosive offense, great defense, possibly the best coach in XFL history. And I just think the Renegades only scoring on field goals, that team's going to take a little bit of time, a couple weeks to get back together. You don't just fix that 1 week. So, yeah, Roughnecks and the under.
I think Coby, I think you're giving this league a little too much credit and thinking it's a little like the NFL where you're like, oh, they can't keep this isn't sustainable. I don't think anything in the XFL is sustainable. Like I don't think any of these guys know what that means. So it's like I think it's kind of an any given week situation, more of a college type thing where you can go out and just see any guys pop off at any given moment. So I'm just going to go complete opposite of you here and go Renegades plus 4.5 and over 39.5. 1, because I love Marquette King. 2, the name Bob Stoops is amazing. Even though I never really knew who he was. And 3, I like overs. So Renegades the over.
Like Roughnecks put up a lot of points last week. The Renegades did too. I'm going to go with the over. I love the overs. And I'm also going to take the Roughnecks minus 3.5. So I just think it's a lot of like a college league that's going to be high scoring. But I do think the Roughnecks have a good enough defense to win by minus 3.5.
Did Tone go for this game or no? All right, sweet.
Can't stop looking at his forehead.
Yeah, no, Tone got the priest laid that one on you, Tone, for sure.
Yeah, the priest kind of fucked him up.
We're gonna try to do this every week. The season is not as long as the NFL, so it'll be easier. There's 9 weeks remaining. It's 10 weeks total. We're obviously through 1 already. There's 2 playoff games and then the championship. That's May 18th. So, basically summertime will be on the horizon at that point. But yeah, like and subscribe.
If you don't watch this, you're a scumbag.
Yeah, if you don't watch this, then, if you didn't make it to this point of the video, you just don't know that much about the XFL.
And shame on you.
But yeah, like and subscribe.